Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. New cabinets are in. It's pretty exciting. Don't have these done yet, but we're getting there. Anyways, welcome to the show, Fernando.
Welcome to the show.
Today we have a fun one for you. We have this blue thing behind me. Let's roll the intro and we'll take a look and see what it is. So this is a 2015 Nissan Xterra. He's got this thing decked out for crawling on those tough Florida rocks and stuff like that. It's all jacked with metal. Yeah, it looks cool, but we're not worried about that. We're putting a stereo in it. So let's hop inside and take a look what the factory has, and we'll see what we're gonna replace it with. So in the dash, it has this cool factory touchscreen. Not so cool. Either way, it's the Rockford Fosgate system. That means somewhere in here there's gonna be an amplifier and the factory subwoofer. We also have a set of speakers up in the dash here. Speaker in the lower part of the door. Speaker in the back door. And then back here in the cargo area, normally there'd be a subwoofer here or here in most cars, but not in this guy. No, this guy, that subwoofer is located right here up underneath the driver's front seat. Now this dash is probably one of my least favorite dashes. It's simple enough to get out. The top piece pops out, and we'll show you that in a second. But Nissan has never been known for making like solid plastic. We've been fortunate that the current version of this, or this newer version, has been a little better, but it's still extremely scary to get this dash out. I absolutely hate it, and to be honest with you, it's the one thing about this car that just scares the crap out of me. We're gonna do that first because it needs to just get off my plate. Let's see what's going in it though. The screen is gonna be replaced by the DNX 1007 XR. It's getting a set of the KFC X174s for the rear, set of KFC XP6902Cs for the front. That'll be a 2.5 in the dash and a 6x9 in the bottom door. And to power all that is gonna be the XR 901-5. And then for a subwoofer, I believe he's getting the Rockford something in a box with a grill. We'll take a look at that later. And then for integration, we're going to be using iData with their new Kenwood plug and an RR, and then the harness, USB, dash kit from Metra, and some Stinger wiring for all of that. Now, as I said, I really want to get that radio, factory radio, out of the dash. Oof, man. So let's hop in there and we'll do that first. For this, it starts with removing this top piece here. Their clips are on the right and left side, not across the front. Really thin panel tool is what you're gonna want to use. And just kind of work your way to get out some of the dirt that might be sticking this thing in place. All right, that piece is off. There's 3 screws in the top here, 1 in the center, and then 2 that hold the actual radio. They're all Phillips. Now is the fun part. There's 2 big plastic clips here, and there's a couple across the bottom. Just kind of wiggle and hope for the best. It's also nice to have a plastic pry tool for the thicker areas. Once you get those clips out, pull it as far forward as it will come. This is where a rag is very handy. Put onto the bottom, because the bottom are metal clips and you kind of have to rest it down. You don't want them to scratch. Remove all the plugs from the back of the radio. There are quite a few of them. The airbag though, however, you're going to want to pull that out of the kit and plug that back in. Nissan is one of the few cars that when the airbag light is disconnected, it will trigger an airbag light in the dash. So we always remove that, attach it. You will need a small Torx. Once I remove it, I put the screws back in so I don't lose them. Clip that back into place. Most dashes in cars these days just don't give us the room that we need in order to put in a modern radio. Smart harnesses, brain boxes, backup cameras, all the stuff that just goes behind a radio, RCAs, speaker wires. This dash is no different. However, this dash is actually pretty simple to modify to get what we need in here. There's this piece right here that just gets cut here and comes out. And some of the versions of the vehicle that have bigger, some of like the pickup trucks and stuff like that, this is already removed. For that, we like to use this little saw here. With that out of the way, it'll now give us room to get our new radio into place with all the accessories we have. The radio is attached to the back of this piece, which is kind of fun. Let's head over to the workbench and we'll take a look at the dash kit and how this guy comes apart. Prepping the factory dash can be, well, it can be fun and also a pain in the butt. A lot of cars nowadays are needing some form of a prep work, meaning pulling out pieces and repurposing things, because that's just the way the industry has gone, trying to replace a factory radio. Even something as old as this from 2015 needs a certain amount of work. On this particular radio, there is 4 Torx screws holding this metal bracket in that holds this radio. They are T20s. Anytime working on a dash, as much as you'd like to, don't use a cordless drill. And especially on a Nissan with this hard, brittle plastic, don't use a cordless drill. And that's it. We have the factory radio out. Subwoofer underneath the front seat. Honestly, it's not a bad idea for a factory system. They typically put tiny woofers in these things, and when you put it all the way in the back, like a little 6.5 or an 8-inch, think of old Tahoes. They eventually figured out, in the Tahoe specifically, to put it on the center console. In this case, the seat in these just sits like 10 inches off the floor. Not really, but a ton of room. But that means we have plenty of room for our amplifier, the Kenwood. First, we have to get this thing out though, and also figure out where the factory amplifier is. We still haven't done that yet. It may be down here. I doubt it. I don't remember. Let's get it out and figure it out. To do that, we have to remove the seat and a couple extra bolts. To get this seat out, there's 4 14mm bolts. 3 of them are covered, 1 of them is not. This guy here is not the covered one, which makes it easy to figure out it's a 14mm. They have little covers that cover up the bolts. The same panel tool that we use to get the radio out works great for getting this cover off. 14mm, they all come off. Now through the magic of video, I've already done that. Lifting the seat up, there's a 4-wire plug over here on the subwoofer, which is kind of depressing because that means the amplifier is somewhere else. Unplug that, 10s, we can get this thing out if I can remember where I put the drill. This comes out rather easily now. I think we'll be using the vacuum at this point because it looks like there's a Chick-fil-A bathroom in here. Well, not really Chick-fil-A bathroom because we all know they're super clean, but we'll just go with bathroom. Meet me over at the bench and we'll take a look at this thing. A lot of people that want bass always ask the same question. Can I just put a better woofer inside of here? And typically the answer is no. This is an 8.5 inch across. However, it is extremely shallow. And the woofer would have to be about less than 3 inches deep. Now sometimes, in this case, they put a bolt in the bottom of the woofer. This is also one of the reasons why, and that's so the box doesn't expand. They use this as part of the bracing system. It's pretty cool. This is a dual voice coil, and there again, this is typically something that you wouldn't want to replace. Now that isn't to say there aren't manufacturers out there, Focal, that make something that can't go underneath the seat on each side, JBL, that will give you a good bass response that will fit underneath each side, adding a small amplifier to them. But for this is where that Kenwood amplifier is going to go. I just wanted to show it to you and kind of give you that idea of what you're looking at.